and an episode always weekly. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for listening to This Is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon, and I'm joined by a man who, if he had the chance to see what life was like if he hadn't been born, he'd rather see what life was like if he'd taken that record deal. Nate.
That record deal? Which one?
The one when you were in high school.
I had after high school.
Okay, so the one after high school.
I didn't take a deal. I just had a chance to go audition for a record company, but I had to do a demo. And back then, talked about this before, right? It'd be like $5,000 to be put together like a 3-song demo. And now you can do it in the comfort of your garage.
Well,
with technology.
Just some plane sounds in the background if it's in my garage.
No garage band?
I mean, we could have a garage band. We'd probably rival the planes, but the planes or the car alarm that continues to go off 100 times a day.
That's a good point. We could have practice in your garage because the neighbors won't complain because they're used to the noise from airplanes and car horns.
We could just call our band Airplanes and Car Horns.
We'll make songs out of car alarms and airplanes.
Oh yeah, we don't even need to play conventional instruments. We'll just sing along to the sounds of the atmosphere.
So we just patiently wait in your garage till an airplane passes over, then we start singing and recording.
Yeah. Works for me. I do think that we used to do a lot more songs than we do, and I think it's always fun when we make a new one.
We just got to get less busy.
Yeah, that's always the problem.
We need to take a leap of faith, quit our jobs, just focus on this full time. I did read an article on like how much subscribers it takes on YouTube to like make a living. So we should just change our platform over to YouTube.
How many do we need?
Start making YouTube videos. So I think you have to have something like minimum of like 1,000 subscribers and then something like 24 million views in a year to make a living off it. I can't remember. Something around. Seems very doable. I think that's why you have thousands of people every day starting a YouTube channel. But I guess it probably only takes you having 1 or 2 viral hits. Once you hit that, then you can get your momentum going. But
we're almost there.
We should just have a YouTube channel and we can write parodies like is it the Holder family who does that?
Oh yeah.
I think he quit his job as like a news anchor to do his channel full time.
I just read an article from them last night.
Really?
Yeah.
See, we could do that.
Talking about their top 10 Christmas movies.
Oh.
Which actually reminds me of another top 10 that I want to talk to you about. I found an article that did a study that reveals the most dangerous Christmas songs to drive to. So it's a top 10 that you shouldn't listen to and a top 10 that you should. The most dangerous and the safest.
Okay.
So what do you think is, if you were to guess, what do you think's on the dangerous Christmas song list?
The dangerous? Grandma got ran over by a reindeer.
Try again.
Dangerous.
And it's based off of beats per minute, if that helps at all.
Rocking Around the Christmas Tree? It's probably Mariah Carey's song, right?
Mariah Carey's number 2.
Ooh.
So that's a dangerous one to listen to. All right, I'll just give you the list.
Let's do it.
So number 1, at 172 beats per minute, Frosty the Snowman.
Huh? That's
Gene Autry,
dangerous?
Frosty the Snowman. So number 2, Mariah Carey. Then we got Feliz Navidad, Santa Claus is Coming to Town by the Jackson 5, Happy Christmas War is Over, Let It Snow, Frank Sinatra, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So that's 2 by Gene Autry that you shouldn't listen to in the car. I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day by Wizard. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, Judy Garland, and I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus by the Jackson 5. So don't listen to Gene Autry or the Jackson 5 for sure in the car.
So the Jackson 5 make 2 of the top 10?
They make 2 of the top 10 and Gene Autry as well.
So this is solely based off the beats per minute, not necessarily like people singing along or
Yeah, I know. Not as fun.
jamming.
Would like to know which Christmas songs have caused the most accidents. If you want to go with the safest Christmas songs, you've got Fairy Tale of New York, then you got Santa Baby, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, Wonderful Christmas Time, It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas, Last Christmas, Winter Wonderland, The Little Drummer Boy, One More Sleep, and Do They Know It's Christmas?
Interesting. Some of those are ones that probably jam out more to or sing along with, which would distract my driving, right?
I do want to go back to one of the songs on this list, on the safest Christmas songs, coming in at number 7, Dean Martin's Winter Wonderland. I think another close second would be the Winter Wonderland by the Tabernacle Choir.
Oh yeah, probably any Motab song should not be listened to in the car because it's too exciting. Isn't that how you get like pumped up for like a big event, is listening to Motab?
Like if you're giving a talk in church?
That, or you're going to go play in a big sporting event or something along
That is
those
what
lines.
I think Chad Lewis did when he would prepare for NFL games. He listened to that kind of music.
Totally get him pumped up.
Yeah. They do happen to have a presence in our topic for today. That song specifically.
And how so?
Because it is in the movie we are talking about today, which is Mr. Krueger's Christmas.
And every time I hear that, I always think of Freddy Krueger. Every time.
Really?
Almost every time. So.
Isn't the backstory for Freddy Krueger, isn't he a janitor too?
Oh, that's a good point. I think so. I've only seen the very first one with Johnny Depp one time, and that was just like a couple years ago for the first time. So I'm not a huge trivia buff when it comes to the Nightmare films.
Well, it says he was a blue-collar worker, so I don't know if it specifies he was a janitor, but the Mr. Krueger we're talking about, he was a janitor. Or a super.
Yes, but I'm just remembering that in the Scream movie, the original Scream, to do, what do you call it? Nod to the Nightmare on Elm Street films. The janitor in the film is wearing Freddy Krueger's shirt or sweater. So that's how you tie it in.
There you go. Did you grow up watching this movie as did I?
I know it was shown a few times in seminary, but I hardly remembered anything about it when I went to rewatch it the other day.
Really?
Yeah, so it's been super long since I've last seen it.
Something about Jimmy Stewart. Is he in another Christmas movie? He just kind of gives off a Christmassy vibe.
Yeah. I bet you he had a wonderful life.
I hope he did. This was one of the last films he made, I believe. The movie we're talking about, Mr. Krueger's Christmas, happened to be filmed here in Utah.
And it was produced by the church. So
It was made in 1980, produced by the church, starring James Stewart. And did you see who wrote the story?
Michael Micklin.
Mr. Utah Christmas himself, Michael McLean. And it was first broadcast on NBC on December 21st, 1980. Basically, the story is there's this guy an older gentleman, who lives in the basement of this building he tends to. And it's Christmas Eve, and he's all alone. And he sees some carolers, and he has a lot of daydreams.
So is it supposed to be a sequel to It's a Wonderful Life?
I could see that.
What do they call it when a fan has a theory? Fan theory. There you go. That's our new fan theory. That it's just
That's
a
our new
sequel
fan
to
theory.
It's a Wonderful.
I was reading some details on this movie. So I found some really cool stories about it. So in the movie, there is the constant recurring theme that Mr. Krueger pictures himself in a better life. At one moment, he's picturing himself as a rich guy at a store. At one point, he sees these killers coming in. He's got this huge, nice house. And in another one, he has a daydream where he is conducting. It's almost like he's the choir director for the Tabernacle Choir. The director talked about filming this scene, and the director Merrill recalls him saying, Jimmy Stewart, Keith, I suddenly realized that I need professional instruction before I go out there and pretend to lead that choir. Normally I could act it, but that is the Mormon Tabernacle Choir out there. They deserve more than some actor faking it. They deserve the best that I can give them, even if it's only for a movie. Is there some way you can help me? And then they had a choir director go in and kind of teach him how to lead the choir the correct way. So I thought that was pretty cool to hear his dedication to the craft and also his respect for the choir.
That is pretty cool.
Another scene in the movie is a moment when he is picturing himself like in the nativity scene, and he approaches the baby Jesus. And that scene was filmed in only one take.
Really?
He said he didn't want to. He's like, well, I'll do this scene, but it can only be one time because he wanted it to be as authentic, and he felt like he was really talking to Jesus in that moment. It wasn't just him acting out a scene, but he was talking from his own heart to get that authentic reaction to it. So I thought that was pretty cool. But my favorite story is it talks about how Michael McClane, he's really excited that they got Jimmy Stewart to agree to doing this part, and he goes and he meets him at his home or whatever, and he answers the door, and he's like, oh my gosh, what have we done? This actor is beyond the point of being able to be in a movie. He's just so frail, he's not going to be able to do this. And he goes in and he's talking to Jimmy, and it was later that he realized Jimmy Stewart said something like, and that's how Mr. Krueger should be. He was basically auditioning for the role.
So he was, what do they call that? In character?
Yeah, he was in character for the whole meeting. But here Michael McClane was thinking, he's like, we made the biggest mistake. This movie's going to fail. But he just was playing the part.
And it did not fail.
What are your thoughts on the movie?
I like it. It's kind of fun to watch because of seeing Salt Lake from back in basically the year I was born. It's probably when they filmed it. And just kind of the simplicity of that time compared to nowadays.
Yeah.
Not having so much technology, but it has a good message. And I like the fact that it's a pretty short film. It's only like, 20
something minutes?
26 minutes.
Yeah, and we're kind of really good at this, at missing milestones. Last year, they were talking about celebrating the 40th anniversary of Mr. Krueger's Christmas.
Which makes sense since it's 41 years.
Yeah. So we missed out. We should have done this episode last year for the 40th anniversary, but
it doesn't turn 41 until December 21st. So
oh yeah, we're still in the 40th year.
Still
we're good.
The 40th anniversary.
They've got a Jimmy Stewart museum back east somewhere, and they still show they'll show It's a Wonderful Life, and then it's followed by Mr. Krueger's Christmas. So people still get to see that
That's
there. It's a good one. And it like you said, it gives you a peek into those older times in Salt Lake. You don't get as many scenes in Salt Lake, but just knowing that's where it is, and you can kind of make it out from the footage.
Yeah. Reminds me a little bit of my childhood. It's weird to think that that little girl in the movie is probably 10 years older than me. So she's not a little girl anymore.
What's her name? Clarissa? The cute little girl that leaves her mittens behind.
Yeah, Clarissa. But I wonder if this story is what inspired Michael McLean to do The Forgotten Carols. Just like that older man kind of at the end of his life, not in his life, but in his silver years, being lonely.
That's an interesting idea. I'd say there's a good chance. Him taking on the role as John in The Forgotten Carols was kind of a callback to Mr. Krueger. And how long has
There you go.
Forgotten Carols been around?
Ooh, that's a good question too.
I feel like we talked about this last year. Which, by the way, it sounds like it's his last year doing it.
But will it really be? Who knows?
At least for him. I think he'll pass the torch on, but 30th anniversary. So this came 10 years after Mr. Krueger.
And speaking of Forgotten Carols, our number one episode for forever has been Raging Waters. Right? It's been our number one episode as far as downloads go. And recently it got beat out by what?
Forgotten Carols.
Forgotten Carols. So
good thing we
Who
did
knew?
that one. Hopefully it's
knew?
helping people find our podcast at this time of year.
if Michael McLean would have only known all the listens he would have gotten by being on our podcast.
He'll be regretting it now.
Huge career mistake.
We're giving him a lot of free advertising.
Oh yeah,
Talking
we are.
about this. Maybe we can talk about his album that he made that I listened to while I was on my mission.
Yes.
The Allegory album.
So maybe he'll come on knowing that it's got 22 downloads. But each one of our fans listened to it, and then 4 more.
And then your
So at
nephews
least
listened to it
22
twice.
people listen to it. Yes. So we're probably at 25 now.
There is a funny joke in the movie when the carolers leave Mr. Krueger very abruptly because I don't know if they were creeped out by him or... Yeah, maybe, because I think at one moment when they're in there, he's having one of his daydreams, and he grabs the lady's hand, and he kisses it, and she's like, okay, and then they just start singing. That was a pretty funny moment. But after they leave, then it sounds like one of the tenants in the building is having some issues, so they're banging on the pipes to get his attention, and he's like, oh, that's Mrs. McLean banging on the pipes again. So I think that was a nod to Michael McLean's wife. Or maybe it was just his way to put his stamp on it.
And the way to acknowledge his best song ever written called Banging on the Pipes. No.
It's a really good one. I can't go Christmas season without listening to it.
Can't think of Michael McLean without thinking of the song Banging on the Pipes.
Banging on the pipes. You're a daydreamer, Nate. Do you ever find yourself in daydreams like this? Like in the movie?
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. Even when I'm playing sports sometimes, I'm like, sorry guys, just having a little daydream. Like, where are you, Nate? Just daydreaming.
Well, you can still do the daydream while you're playing sports. Just like, and Nate Linnell slams it down.
Let me ask you this. There you go. Um, do you ever like have a daydream where you're having a conversation with somebody and then you start speaking out loud, or you like respond and people are like, "What?" Never done that?
I can't say I have.
Or you're like thinking about work or something like that, like a conversation you're gonna have with somebody. So you have the conversation in your head and then you like say it's part of it out loud. Do you ever do that? And people are like, "What are you talking about?" Like, "Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to think out loud."
Mm-mm. Nope, that's never happened to me.
All right.
At least
I
I
guess
can't
you're not
think
old
of that
enough
it
yet,
has.
Brandon.
I'm not old enough yet.
Okay. Maybe you're not old enough yet.
I do have it happen a lot of times
When you
where
start getting gray in your beard.
not yet. I do have it happen where I'll be in that half dreaming, half awake, and I'll answer and speak out loud. But I guess that's more of a night dream rather than a daydream.
Can you daydream at night?
I do sometimes because
What do
I'm
you call that?
always my mind's always going. I'm always thinking about something.
I know, but it's not during the day though. It's at night.
True. One thing that's really impressive about this movie is that little girl. I think he says his name, maybe he introduces himself one time, but after all that, at the end of the movie, she still remembers his name.
But I also wonder if everybody knows who he is.
You think so? If they did, it makes it all the more sad how hesitant they were to come in and carol to him. Isn't that the whole point of caroling?
Right. People go caroling anymore?
I don't think they do. That's something that needs to make a comeback. I love caroling.
Our
Let's go caroling.
we should do it. Actually, I was trying to do it with some people in my neighborhood a couple of years ago, but it just never panned out. But I know our friend of the podcast, Casey Clyde, his family, that's kind of their tradition, is they go caroling and then drop off their neighbor gifts while they carol. So my mom looks forward to it every year.
Well, dang it, let's go caroling this year.
We should. We should start practicing in your garage.
All right. I'm down. Now the question is, are we going to just do all traditional carol songs, or are we going to do some of our own,
Make up
like our
our
12
own.
Days of Christmas?
We should do that. Make everybody listen to the 12 Days of Christmas, even though they're freezing outside. We're like, it's not over yet.
Guys, this is an 8-minute song.
And then if we can record it, get it onto the radio and be a top song, we can knock off Taylor Swift for the longest song on the Billboard Top 100.
Oh.
She just beat out Don McLean, is that his name? American Pie song. For the longest song to hit the... Anyways. Just saw that headline on Facebook.
Yeah, we can beat out Taylor. People will care about us way more than the Jake Gyllenhaal drama.
About caroling.
Do you watch It's a Wonderful Life every year?
I don't know if I've ever seen It's a Wonderful Life all the way through.
What?
I don't think I have. Well, it's hard because, with my daydreaming, I drift off and I don't pay attention.
I think It's a Wonderful Life is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Like, isn't there a famous quote from It's a Wonderful Life?
There's a lot of famous quotes from It's a
Or am I
Wonderful
thinking
Life.
Miracle?
Which one? What we say at my house is always, "Merry Christmas, you old building and loan." Which quote are you thinking about?
What's the famous line from It's a...
Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter.
Oh, it is. No. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Of course. Yeah, that's from It's a Wonderful Life.
I thought that was from Miracle on 34th.
It's got tons of quotes, man.
Attaboy. Attaboy, Clarence.
Oh, that's such a good one. My mouth's bleeding. Kyle, you need to watch this movie. How have you not seen the whole movie? Let's have another movie night. You can come over and watch it. It's got 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, man. Did you know that they filmed it in the middle of summer? So you see in the movie they're sweating all the time. That's real sweat. Because it was hotter than heck.
I told you, like, when they were making that Hallmark or Lifetime movie across the street from my office, like in July.
Which one was that?
For all the actors, just like sweating. when they were making, I don't know which one it was, but they were making a movie across the street from my office when I was there once, like in July. And that's when I was walking by some of the crew, and the guy said, "Hey man, did everyone tell you that you look like what's his name? The
Haley Joel Osment.
Sixth Sense kid."
You know another good quote from the movie? You look a little older without your clothes on.
Remember, no man is a failure who has friends.
That's not Clarence's voice. Come on. Clarence is the angel.
Clarence, how's he doing? Oh,
Now George.
that's the angel.
Yeah, that's the angel, Clarence. Now, George, you really had a wonderful
So
life.
who's which one? George is the main character.
George Bailey is Jimmy
You
Stewart.
look a little older with your clothes on.
That's Sean Connery again.
You look a little older with your clothes on. And I have to watch it and hear his voice to copy it.
See, I knew we couldn't make the whole episode without doing a couple impressions. At least I couldn't. You need to go watch Mr. Krueger's Christmas and then watch It's a Wonderful Life. And I think it's free on Prime, so you don't have an excuse.
Hey, what are you doing tonight?
Is that him?
I don't want to get
Nothing.
married to anybody, you understand?
I don't want to get married to anybody. You understand?
There you go. You got it.
I don't want to get married to anybody. You understand?
Money. What is it? Get us.
Yeah, do a Mr. Potter impression.
Just a minute now, hold on. Just a minute. Now, you're right when you say my father was no businessman. I know that. Why he ever started this cheap penny-ante building alone, I'll never know. But
I'll never know.
neither you nor anybody else can say anything against his character because his whole life was, why, in the 25 years since he
Well,
and Uncle Billy started
his whole
this thing,
life
he never
was,
went-
thank you, Brandon, for letting me on the episode. Where's George? Where's George?
You want to come in for some chocolate?
Want some chocolate? Clarice?
Clarissa?
Clarissa?
Oh, it's Mrs. McLean again, banging on the pipes.
Bringing on the pipes. Blanche!
Clarence!
You have no idea what happened. Oh, George,
Are you real?
Are you real? Brandon, are you real? Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I think it's one of the most perfect movies.
Isn't that a movie that they didn't renew, like the copyright or whatever you want to call it, and so anybody can play it or something along those lines? Does that
It
make
used to
any
be like
sense?
that
But is
until it got
now-
big. But that's
that's
why
why
it became so famous, was because everybody would just put it
show
on
it
all the
because
time.
Because it didn't cost them anything to show it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'll add that to my list.
Yeah.
Things
Watch
I
that
need to
after
watch.
Die Hard.
I need to. I have seen Die Hard, and I'm gonna watch that again this year too. It's been a
Apparently,
long
Better Off
time.
Dead's a Christmas movie too. Any movie that takes place at or around Christmas time is automatically a Christmas movie.
One of my favorites is Just Friends
That is a good
with
one.
Ryan Reynolds, and then obviously the best one ever is Christmas Vacation.
Oh yeah, of course.
Which, do you know, like Chevy Chase right now is working a drive-through at that chicken place. What do they call it?
Raising Cane's?
Yeah, so he's at one back east somewhere doing a promotion for Christmas Vacation or something like that. Some
Really?
anniversary, and he's working the drive-through.
Just quoting
Or he
the movie?
was. So everybody's making Christmas Vacation puns, you know. Save the neck for me, Clark. Something like that.
Hopefully
but Regal,
nobody gets a chicken like the Christmas dinner they have in that movie.
I think it's what someone else said. If this chicken tastes half as good as it looks, or something like that, we're in for a real treat.
Yeah.
Somebody said that. But the Regal Theater, every Saturday, the one in Taylorsville, is showing a classic Christmas movie. And they're showing Christmas Vacation on December 18th. But it's at 1 o'clock, and I can't go. I think that'd be really fun to go
Oh, man.
see it on the big screen. And this Saturday's Elf. But I have my daughter's soccer game during that time. I have to watch it at home on the big screen.
A couple of times.
Yeah, maybe 4, maybe 5.
Well, I hope that yours and everybody's Christmas, or Christmas Eve, I guess, when the movie takes place, can go as swell as Mr. Krueger's ends up going. You know, hopefully some of you will get some carolers this year, and maybe it's going to be Nate and I.
It just might be.
And if they offer you some chocolate, you go inside and have some chocolate.
That's right. And don't wake up George.
Thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
See you next week.